Good evening, Beaumont. Good to be with you guys here. Just wanted to take a couple of minutes and talk about. Everybody seems to be really excited about ICE. Now, what are we dealing with here? If you break into somebody's house, are you not a burglar? Are you not a criminal? If you break into my house through the bathroom window, I don't care if you have a silver spoon. I don't care if you're here to wash my dishes and cut my grass. The problem is, you didn't knock. You didn't ring the doorbell and wait for me to answer. You broke into my country. Now, you are already a criminal. But then what if you're engaging in other crimes? What if you're stealing Social Security money from somebody who really deserves it? What if you're stealing housing and welfare benefits from someone who truly deserves those benefits? Do you realize how many homeless veterans we have? It's sad, but there are a lot. Because once they left military life, they just found it difficult to deal with civilian life. If you're in the military, even though your life is at risk every day, everything is laid out for you. You get 3 squares a day served at a particular time, and you get a place to sleep that's nice and clean all the time. And people tell you where to go and what to do every day. All you have to do is go there and do it. Well, then they get out of the military and they don't have that discipline anymore. There's no one there left to tell them what to do and how to do it. And so consequently, a good lot of them, many of them suffering from post-traumatic stress syndrome, end up on the streets, and they're barely alive. And yet we're giving gazillions of dollars to people that came here from Somalia. Now, it's true, these people are disabled. The average IQ, for a fact, is 69 of a Somalian. That is retarded, but that's the norm because of the inbreeding in Somalia. It's a country that's been around for very many years, but it's also a country that's completely divorced from any sort of Christian ethics. So they come over here, and the only thing they know is to kill, steal, and destroy. What really disappointed me was I found out that this actually started during the Bush administration. That's when they first brought the large groups of Somalis over here, and they started in Ohio. But the point is, what do we see now? We've got the news media out there. Now, you probably know this. The news media, I don't care who it is, ABC, NBC, CBS, MSNBC, CNN, these are all anti-American subversive organizations that exist for one reason and one reason only. That is to spread propaganda with the hopes of destroying what is the greatest republic in the history of the world. That's what the United States is. We are a constitutional republic. We are not a democracy. So the news media and their other willing accomplices known as Democrats are out there trying to force you out of your constitutional republic and into a one world globalist government under a benevolent dictator, Lucifer. And that's what they want for you. That is why I believe that the big 7 broadcasters should all lose their FCC broadcast licenses. It's a brave new world out there. Do we even need them? No, because we've got guys like Nick Shirley and Nick Sorter. I mean, these are great guys. We got Mark Dice. There's just Brian Maxwell. I really like Brian Maxwell. There's just a lot of guys, and we get better news from them than we get from anywhere else in the world. Broadcast TV is mostly dead. Yes, I know most stations still do broadcast, and I'm an audio-video guy. I went out and fixed an antenna the other day because I'm the only guy that knows how to do that. But nonetheless, that stuff is old. It's sailed. Why are we continuing to allow it? The good news is National Public Broadcasting has folded. They have closed their doors and they are gone because they were spreading anti-American, communist, Marxist propaganda for all of those years, and they were doing it on your tax dollar. Once we took that tax dollar away, they found they were no longer able to operate. They just couldn't make a profit because nobody wanted their BS. That's bologna sandwich. So I'm just telling you, the world has changed, and we need to change with it. I am sick and tired of people that are supporting criminals and hating on American law enforcement. Now, I've had my own issues with law enforcement in the past, as those of you that have followed me for a long time know. We have seen things happen here in Texas, up at the Capitol, that probably shouldn't have happened because of overzealous law enforcement. But we were not committing any criminal acts either. These are criminals. They come here, they engage in prostitution, they engage in financial fraud, they engage in armed robbery, they engage in other crimes against women. My point is, these are criminals. That's who they are. Now, that good woman up there, who was bad, by the way, turns out that she was a homosexual. Turns out that she thought she was the man in the relationship. Have you noticed that the assassins for Donald Trump, the assassins, Charlie Kirk, were all homosexuals? Men pretending to be women, vice versa. The point is, we used to think this is all kind of cutesy. Remember back in the days of MASH, we had Corporal Klinger who was pretending to be a homosexual so he could get out of the war? He was not a homosexual. He was just pretending to be one. But we've always treated it as such a cutesy thing. They're just so nice, these homosexuals, so pleasant. No, these are mentally ill people. And it's time that we quit supporting their mental illness and begin to get them help. These people need spiritual help. They need physical help. There are mental health programs that will help these people. And if we continue to wink at it and treat it like it's a fun, cutesy little thing, more and more people are going to die. It is directly associated with death. Why will we allow this to happen in our world? Now, I know that the very fact that I'm talking about this means if I put it up on YouTube, my channel may get shut down again. That was my retirement plan before when they shut down my big channel. The point is, we cannot accept immorality, and we cannot accept lawlessness. And if we're going to continue to support these criminals, and we're going to continue to support these entire cities that are run by the mobs that are robbing Americans blind, nothing good is going to come of this. Think of your children. Think of your grandchildren. What kind of world are they going to grow up in if we don't clean up this mess now? Because it's rampant in Minneapolis, Minnesota. It's rampant in Ohio. It's rampant in California. God knows New York. Oh my God. And in New York, the majority of the people are conservative. But the ballot harvesting and everything they do in New York City completely negates their vote. Saturday, which is my Saturday show, I'm going to play some video from Brian Maxwell, and it will absolutely curl your toes when you see what happened in the 2020 vote. We've always had this evidence. It's just that no one would look at it. They say, well, Donald Trump went to court and he lost every case. No, Donald Trump went to court, and the judges, the Democrat judges, the criminal judges, refused to hear the case. They wouldn't even look at the evidence. They refused to hear it, and because they refused to hear it, it wouldn't even go to a jury ever. Well, there is a new sheriff in town. He doesn't have a lot of time left. He's only been there for 10 months, maybe 11 months now. But nonetheless, he's got a very short time in order to accomplish this. You need to get behind him. You need to call your senators. You need to call your congressmen and tell them to get behind Donald Trump, and let's root out this criminal activity, this lawlessness. Let's quit supporting the criminals and loving on the criminals and start supporting American veterans and loving on them. Now this. Everything is collapsing in Iran right now, and this is a big deal. So let me give you this little bit of video.
Tonight, with deadly clashes erupting in Iran, President Trump backing those protesting against Iran's government and threatening U.S. intervention. Posting, if Iran shoots and violently kills peaceful protesters, the United States of America will come to their rescue. We are locked and loaded and ready to go. The demonstrations in Iran are widespread, many outraged over the government's handling of the economy. They appear to be the biggest protests in the country since 2022, following the death of Mahsa Amini, a 22-year-old who died in police custody after she was arrested for not properly covering her hair with a hijab, which led to a harsh government crackdown. This latest unrest comes amid Iran's increasing tensions with Israel and the West. 6 months ago, the U.S. bombed key Iranian nuclear facilities. Earlier this week, President Trump warned Iran not to rebuild its ballistic missile and nuclear programs, or
we're going to have to knock them down. We'll knock them down. We'll knock the hell out of them.
But today's message goes farther, suggesting the U.S. might get involved in Iran's domestic politics beyond its nuclear ambitions. The head of Iran's parliament posting this open admission makes all American bases and forces across the region legitimate targets if the U.S. intervenes, and a senior Iranian government advisor warning that U.S. interference in this internal matter would mean destabilizing the entire region.
Back in the old days, when I was a kid, Iran was a Republican country. They did have a king, but the truth was they were very much the same as any other American Western country. The women dressed very nicely. They had good universities, good colleges, and they had an excellent economy. Well, then the mullahs rose and robbed the country. They stole everything, and they turned it into a hellhole, and that's what it's been for the longest time. So now they're trying to throw that off. They tried to do this during the Biden administration, and it was ignored. They tried it during the Obama administration, and it was ignored. In fact, Obama took the side of the mullahs because he was a Muslim, in spite of the fact. I'm not going to talk about that. But the point is, now they are hoping for help. They're actually crying out for help. In view of what just happened in Venezuela, they are thinking that perhaps the United States might help them in throwing off Islam, because it's not an Islamic country. It never has been an Islamic country. This was a massive takeover supported by the globalists. I don't know where they thought that was going to go, but it's a bad deal. So if you think about it, pray for Iran. There's a huge number of Iranian Christians in Iran, and they need your help. See you guys tomorrow. Don't forget the Saturday show every Saturday right here on Freedom 1300 in Beaumont. It is chock full of goodies. I spend hours and hours putting this together every week for you guys. So please like and share. And Duck Do, thank you for being a strong supporter of the show. And the rest of you guys, I wish you could get as active as Duck Do does on YouTube and on Rumble. Anyway, see ya. You have a choice, and you chose Freedom 1300.